Oh yeah, Crico, let's just put in the middle of a hurricane. We might be in the middle of a waterfall! I'm gonna die!
Hello. Another day in paradise.
Off the coast of Texas, veteran Captain Carl Roby, on board the fishing boat Cynthia Renee, is hauling his first catch of the day.
Come on, fish.
Lots of snapper on the deck. Yeah, Carl up here doing multiple things. Driving the boat, hauling the gear. He's a man of many talents.
The Cynthia Renee has been at sea for 8 days, during the hottest June on record.
Well, we might get a little bit of rain today. It'd be a welcome change after all the scorching hot days.
Commercial fishing in the Gulf of Mexico generates $900 million a year. But for almost half the year, boats operate under a constant threat. June 1st is the start of hurricane season. The Gulf Coast is home to 15 million people. Out in the ocean are 3,500 oil platforms, all in one of the most notorious hurricane hotspots in the world. Now, some of these platforms, as well as cargo ships, government vessels, and fishing boats in the Gulf of Mexico, will carry National Geographic cameras for an entire hurricane season to document 1 year's storms across our changing planet on a scale never seen before.
Hello, my name is Kenneth McWhorter. We're at Grand Isle 22, Lima platform.
Cox Oil is one of the privately owned oil companies in the Gulf, operating more than 500 platforms stretching from Florida to Texas.
All right, we're gonna get on the helicopter. We're gonna go up here and meet Mr. Danny Domain. There he is right there. Takes care of all our safety issues and compliance issues.
In hurricane season, all eyes are fixed on the skies to the southeast, towards the Atlantic and Caribbean. This is the usual route in for hurricanes. But just a few weeks into the season, meteorologists have spotted a threatening weather pattern coming from the opposite direction, the north.
Tim, what are you looking at here?
This is not where hurricanes usually come from. If the system hits the Gulf, high sea temperatures could cause it to intensify, becoming a hurricane in less than a day.
No, we're almost through our turn. We're almost through our turn.
220 miles off the Texas coast, United States Coast Guard cutter Cypress is en route to a designated location in the middle of the Gulf.
We've got this sling ready to go.
All right.
We'll hook, everything up. I'll climb.
The Cypress has a specialist role among Coast Guard ships. They work with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to maintain their network of ocean weather monitoring buoys.
Pretty important buoys. They provide data in the Gulf of Mexico to give early warning of storms. A lot of commercial traffic goes through Gulf of Mexico. It's in trillions of dollars in terms of commercial industry, so pretty important mission.
Today, the crew of the Cypress are deploying a weather buoy that will give NOAA live wind and wave data from more than 200 miles offshore. But the weather will play a big part in determining how smoothly this operation goes.
We'll try to give you the best ride we can. I'm not sure how much of a lee we'll be able to give you. Conditions are going to pick up. All right.
They will be setting a 4-ton concrete anchor, 12,000 feet of cable, and a fragile $500,000 weather buoy. Even in calm weather, This is a precarious operation.
Get some weather coming in. Is it coming fast, or what'd they say? Pretty fast. Rain. It's in the buoy out. Yeah, hopefully just in time before it starts pouring down rain, because it's coming.
The storm has turned south and is approaching the warm seas of the Gulf. The National Weather Service issues coastal forecasts, and now they're preparing to announce storm warnings.
One reason we're getting concerned is it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, it's going to start getting into this much warmer air. So these reds here are much warmer water off the Louisiana coast over the next few days, where the upper level shear will become more favorable for intensification and development.
Almost as soon as the system reaches the warm seas of the Gulf, it intensifies to a sustained wind speed of 40 miles per hour, making it officially a tropical storm and earning it a name. Barry.
As you see, it's been down, raining pretty hard out there. See there it is on the radar right there. Just to take this camera outside where y'all can see what it's like out there second gear and this kind of stuff. Oh yeah, both needed a bath anyway.
Across the Gulf, ships carrying our cameras are seeing the skies change above them.
It's clear this way, but it don't look clear this way. Feel the coolness air. Got a big storm coming right now.
In the middle of the ocean, the oil platforms are exposed. Increasing winds are a big concern.
Hey, this is Devin, electrician here at Grand Isle 22. Got a little storm setting in over us right now. Take a look at it. Kind of ducked behind the building over here trying to stay out of the wind. Probably got 25 knot winds right now.
A powerful hurricane could completely destroy an oil platform, taking its crew down with it. If Cox Oil feel the incoming system is a threat, they'll shut down the rigs, seal the wells, and evacuate the workers. Safety of the crews and safety of the environment are paramount, but a shutdown can cost millions of dollars in lost oil revenues.
Hello, James Maroon, lead operator.
Mark Poche, field foreman, 361, area 2.
Here we go. We got tropical storm, possible hurricane evacuations. Fixing to have a meeting about it.
In New Orleans, Louisiana, Cox Oil's senior management have all rig supervisors on the line. They must decide if and when to initiate an evacuation.
All right, gentlemen, you know, we all know the drill, we all know the exercise.
The final decision rests with Cox Oil president Rodney Dykes.
The main reason I want to get everybody together this afternoon is get everybody on task and everybody focused. We anticipate that we will have to take some sort of evacuation, but hopefully we plan for the worst and don't have to execute. All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good day, and let's talk at 3.
Hurricanes can be devastating for the rigs. Across the Gulf, Hurricane Katrina destroyed 46 oil platforms and damaged 100 pipelines. Oil spills from damaged platforms prompted strict new regulations, enforcing costly measures in the face of a hurricane threat. Rig operators now face some tough decisions.
Just walked out on the meeting. Whether there's all populated, it's looking pretty rough. Waves get rougher, of course, we won't be able to get out on the boat.
Coming up on.
They need help. Spin. There we go, there we go. There we go. Pull it, pull it, pull it.
The Coast Guard crew is trying to deploy the buoy before the bad weather hits.
There we go.
But this is not a job easily rushed. The buoy smashing into the ship could be a $500,000 mistake.
We're gonna hit her. Go! Thrust away!
Stop her, bro.
It's just coming down. Good job.
The buoy lands in the water, just as the rain and winds hit.
This is the 12,565 pound line that we're slowly sending out. I don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't look right.
The buoy is surging away from the ship on the wind and waves, but the line is tangled, putting the deck crew at risk of being caught and pulled overboard.
This doesn't look right. Something! Slow down! It's twisted. Look out!
The sudden arrival of a storm has made the job of deploying a weather buoy a lot more difficult. Working in the deluge, the Coast Guard crew unsnagged the line.
Hey, watch your feet!
Once all the line is out, the crew drops the anchor.
We're gonna trip it. It's gonna go in.
A 4-ton block of concrete, which will take almost 15 minutes to reach the ocean floor.
We are already receiving real-time information from it. We got the buoys in, they're working properly. Everybody's getting the data that they need, and they're spitting it out to the mariner.
Data from the buoys is invaluable to forecasters trying to predict the path and intensity of storms. But it's not enough on its own. The call has gone out to launch one of NOAA's hurricane hunters.
20-0, clear for takeoff, runway 27042.
The specially equipped Lockheed Orion P-3 aircraft fly from NOAA's aircraft operations base in North Florida, and they're carrying our cameras.
So we are buckling up because we're about to get into some chop on our way to Tropical Storm Barry.
Almost as soon as they're airborne, they're into rough weather.
I'm gonna just pan here. We've been hitting a couple of bumps. Now we're starting to get a bit more water. And I'm back to
On the ground, near the Florida Panhandle and the center of the ever-building storm, the Marine unit of the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is responding to a distress call.
You're not allowed outside the Gulf. So that's even on nice days.
An inshore leisure boat has been caught in the rapidly growing ocean swell. Tropical Storm Barry is churning up the seas. The stranded boat may be in real trouble.
We can stay with them if they have to evacuate and get them on the boat as fast as we can. Get on the other side of the breakers here. If it goes out, 216, 1097 with the pontoon boat in the mountain pass. How did it seize up? What's going on? They got a line wrapped around the cross. They got the anchor wrapped up in it. Yeah. Hold on, Daryl.
The small sheriff's boat is immediately getting knocked around by the waves.
All right, Daryl, what's your thought? We are in a bad way, dude.
So we definitely need the Coast Guard 45 out here.
That swimming pool pump.
Yeah.
I gotta take it off, it's burned up. Well, let me make sure, I'll try it one more time, but when that engine room flooded, I'm sure it's still up.
On board the fishing boat Cynthia Renee, Carl and his crew have also hit serious problems.
My hydraulics are hooked to the main engine. So if I don't have main engine, I don't have hydraulics. Without hydraulics, I can't lift my gear back up.
His engine has shut off right in the middle of fishing, and he can't get it started again.
No engine, no power.
The Cynthia Renee is a sitting duck in front of the rapidly building storm system.
choppy, that's for damn sure. Nasty weather right here.
A tropical storm watch has been issued. Tropical cyclone expected to form by Thursday over the north-central Gulf of Mexico.
That's us. Coming right up our butt. Of course it is. Of course it is.
My name is Danny Domingue. I am the compliance technician. Raining right here. Ooh. Big lightning. This is how fast a storm can pop up in the Gulf of Mexico.
On the oil platforms, in the path of Tropical Storm Barry, Cox Oil must now decide if they are going to shut down production and evacuate.
This is our production foreman, Larry Pickens. He is getting on a hurricane call and possible evacuation.
This is Larry Maypass.
Hey Larry, how you doing?
Good, good.
NOAA's forecasters now expect intensifying Storm Barry to become a hurricane within days. Cox Oil has taken the big decision to shut down production, seal oil wells, and evacuate 51 platforms in the storm's path.
We're still seeing, 4 and 5 footers.
So a big Coast Guard vessel's on its way out. We're gonna stand by.
Coming up hard on the left.
In Destin, Florida, Tropical Storm Barry is making the seas rougher by the minute.
I want to stand by.
I'm just saying we can't do it.
It won't be long before the stranded boat starts to succumb to the waves.
We got another big one coming there. Big one.
You okay?
Yeah, that hurt. Get blood all over everything. Don't wipe it because if I got broken glass.
A freak wave has crashed through the screen, showering the driver with glass. He's still conscious, but he and his passenger both need medical attention. The Coast Guard are already on their way, but for now, the pontoon boat must face the waves alone.
Maybe a hurricane. We gotta go get him. We got a man sitting out there right now that can't even crank his boat up. He's drifting east right now as we speak. So, and then knowing you got tropical weather coming at you, not good at all. Hey everybody, change of plans. We gotta go help Carl.
In Dulac, Louisiana, Captain Donnie of the fishing boat Intrepido II has received Carl's distress call. Carl's boat has been adrift in the open ocean for more than 24 hours. It's 140 miles offshore, and it will take Donnie at least another day to reach them.
Just another day in the life of a fisherman here in the Gulf of Mexico.
Surface low center just off our left wing, about 10 miles.
In the skies above the Gulf, NOAA 42 is beginning another run into the center of Tropical Storm Barry. Radio transmitters, fitted with temperature, pressure, and wind speed monitors, are dropped into the storm to give a real-time cross-section of the intensifying cyclone.
You see the strongest winds are right here on the southeast side of the storm. That's where we encountered the greatest turbulence.
Tropical Storm Barry is picking up power fast.
We're just east of the storm track, but we're certainly feeling a little bit of it, I think, right now. It's still a little rough, a little choppy out.
I broke down. And I drifted all the way over here.
Carl Roby has been adrift for 3 days without an engine, and he continues to film on our cameras.
Here it comes, boys.
All over the Gulf of Mexico, vessels carrying our cameras alter their course, doing what they can to avoid the worst of the incoming storm. But the Intrepido II has other priorities.
This is the fishing vessel Cynthia Renee that we're towing. Good friend Carl. We're happy to tow him back into Dulac, Louisiana. We towed this little fella over 100 miles.
Donnie and the crew of the Intrepido II found the Cynthia Renee not a moment too soon.
We got a hurricane coming, it looks like. Getting pretty nasty already.
Barry is now within 24 hours of the Louisiana coast.
Tropical storm Barry is about to come ashore tomorrow. Just coming here to check out my boat. Make sure all's good.
Ron Dufresne, owner of the shrimp boat Mr. Jug, should have been halfway across the Gulf of Mexico by now.
This is some of the feeder bands.
It's out here right now. Once it gets south of us, the wind's going to shift and start coming from that direction.
The Texas shrimping season starts in a few days. Ron had hoped to be there, but with a brewing hurricane now just offshore, it's too dangerous to leave.
They have a season that's opening up, and I'm 3 days away from that tomorrow. It'll take me 3 days to get to where I want to be. So if I have any intent to make it down there, I'm going to have to leave as soon as possible.
Go! Slack off on the bow, please.
The crew of the Intrepido II have arrived in Dulac, Louisiana. Their rescue mission complete.
That's the boat we towed in. Cynthia Renee. He drifted 3 days before we went to get him.
I owe him. Or else I'll be drifting around out there right now. And a friggin' hurricane coming this way and drifting? No, thank you.
But despite now being tied up at the dock, Carl and his crew are not clear of danger yet.
Some of the models in particular are showing up to 20 inches of rainfall for isolated locations. So the flash flood risk is really ramping up with this system. Could be some catastrophic, life-threatening flash flooding. The other issue as it slows down is we're looking at 3 to 6 feet of storm surge. So that and battering waves on top of that. So it's something we really are concerned about along the Louisiana coast.
Major system bearing down on the U.S., the Gulf bracing. Mandatory evacuations have now been ordered for parts of the coast.
3 hours before landfall, wind speeds hit 75 miles per hour, and Tropical Storm Barry becomes Hurricane Barry.
We're blowing about 70 knots right here. Holy cow. It is blowing now.
As night falls on southern Louisiana, Category 1 Hurricane Barry arrives.
Here, if you take this, I'm going inside.
I am. There goes Cap. We're in a hurricane. Oh, yeah.
It's not blowing in here. No, nothing.
Carl Roby and his crew are just thankful they're not still at sea.
On about 80 knots right now. Good God almighty. It is blowing. It's coming ashore right now.
Hurricane Barry's bizarre track continues the next day as it moves north into Arkansas, almost making a complete loop and breaking rainfall records as it goes. tail end of Barry brings a new threat. Storm surge. Coastal areas experience almost 8 feet of flooding.
Okay, we're on our way to the boat this morning, Sunday morning after Hurricane Barry. Bayou coming over the banks. Just when you think you got it bad, it could be worse. It could be these poor souls, buried, underwater.
Ron Dufresne can't afford to wait for the winds to completely pass.
We're heading out into the Gulf. Headed to Texas. About 400 miles to go to where I want to be.
The Texas shrimping season opens in 2 days, and Ron is 3 days away.
A little choppy, but doing okay.
Offshore, rig workers can begin to make their way back to their platforms. The shutdown has already cost the Gulf of Mexico oil industry almost $1 billion. They're not wasting any time getting back online.
You kind of see how the weather affects our work.
The hottest summer on record passes with no more hurricanes in the Gulf.
It's been an absolutely beautiful day. Look calm. No wind. Very hot.
As October begins, marine workers can start to hope that they may have got lucky. But sea temperatures are still alarmingly high.
Extremely hot outside today. Water temperature is 89 degrees. 89.4.
It's so damn hot, the seagulls have to put their ass in the water just to cool down.
Warm seas mean hurricane formation is always a threat, and 2 weeks into October, it's becoming a reality. A buildup of clouds by the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, is moving slowly eastward. If it develops into a storm, it has a run of more than 1,000 miles over warm ocean toward America's Gulf Coast. These are ideal conditions for a hurricane.
Morning. It's another day on board Cypress 7000. Another breezy day, I would say.
In the Bay of Campeche, west of the Yucatan, the 190,000-ton Saipem 7000, the third largest semi-submersible crane ship in the world, is building an oil platform, and they're carrying our cameras. As the growing storm approaches, Saipem 7000 has to detach from the platform for safety reasons.
The weather is getting a bit more fresh, winds of 80 knots. And she's a powerful lady, the ship, so we can really withstand, not really a storm, but 6, 7 before scale. Yeah, we can stay in the position quite well.
They get the ship clear of the platform just in time.
That is actually the platform that we've just built.
The incoming weather is almost on them. If faced with hurricane-force winds, the ship could be smashed into the new platform. They're safer battling the storm alone.
Luckily, we're out because the storm is coming in with some strong winds and heavy rains. We're just right in time. getting wet, so I'll be right back. I'll be better back to the bridge.
Come back, did you say something?
22 pallets on the wrist truck. We need every net out.
On the Texas coast, skies are clear, but forecasts are now showing increasing winds and cloud beginning to build.
This morning we have a little bit of a snafu. We have a lot more equipment than what we thought we were gonna have going out. This is the Mad Dash. Wind's supposed to get up to 30 to 40 miles an hour. So we're gonna be running pretty hard trying to get it all out to them.
Outside most major ports, there is an offshore anchorage where incoming cargo ships queue for a space to unload, and outgoing ships can drop anchor and await their next instructions. Ryan Marine operate a delivery and supply service to ships anchored outside Houston's ports.
Radio's on, radar's checked, we're good to go.
If a hurricane develops, deliveries to ships will be cut off. They need supplies immediately. But the bigger the waves, the trickier the operation becomes.
Wind's gonna blow it all over the place.
Sea conditions in the northern Gulf of Mexico are much worse than forecasts suggested this morning.
He's swinging back this way now. So I'm having to run away from him. The wind has got this ship swinging back and forth on its anchor chain. So it's going back and forth about 30 degrees on each side. And it's going the other way, so I gotta chase him. Now I'm going back. Probably got about 2 more hours of this. I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the camera now, save some of the battery for later.
We've seen some pretty strong winds from the radar. In fact, we've seen nearly hurricane force winds from the radar.
John Zavislak, Field Operations Director of NOAA's Hurricane Research Division, is closely watching the latest data on the storm as it comes in.
At this point, the Hurricane Center still expect those winds to increase kind of in the next 12 hours or so as it heads towards its landfall. You know, this is the kind of storm that it doesn't look like a hurricane, doesn't look like a tropical storm on satellite, and it might fool some people, but it does have the strong winds.
The weather system is building, but its irregular shape means it's not yet classified as a tropical storm, and storm warnings are not being issued. John will now head to NOAA's Aircraft Operations Base in Lakeland, Florida, to fly with the hurricane hunters into the eye of the storm to find out just how bad it really is.
Pretty clear circulation center we saw earlier today. Plenty of precipitation up to the north, so there's a lot of slop out there in the Gulf of Mexico, but going to quickly move northeast here over the next 24, 36 hours and accelerate towards the U.S. Gulf Coast.
The storm is heading for the U.S. The question now is how powerful it will be when it gets there.
Got a push boat coming. No traffic inbound.
In Louisiana, the fishing boat Saucy Wench is heading to sea, despite the incoming storm.
We're heading down the bayou now after being stuck on land for 4 days due to repairs for our autopilot system. We got some risks that the trip might not be profitable because we might not have enough time to put enough fish on the boat. The other risk we have is there's a big storm coming this weekend.
The path of the storm puts them on a collision course for now. But Sean and his first mate Crico are gambling on being able to skirt around the worst of it.
It's all good. We're going to make the most out of this trip. We're still going to catch some fish. We're still going to make some money. Got our first couple sets out. See, it's already a little choppy out here. Tropical depression off of Mexico is working its way up here. Looks like projected path is going to hit Alabama, just missed Louisiana. Well, that's what we're dealing with, so maybe we'll get some storm action this trip. I'll show you what it's like to be on the back deck. Oh, man. Yeah. Pretty rough out of there.
200 miles south, the approaching weather system is still disorganized, but it now has sustained winds over 40 miles per hour and is upgraded to tropical storm Nestor.
All these lightning storms. Don't even look real, does it?
Those who have chosen to stay at sea must now live with their decisions. It's too late to turn back. The Cox Oil rigs are now bracing for impact.
Let's just hunker down and ride this thing out. It does look like it's moving pretty quickly. You guys in Mobile, Main Pass, West Delta, Grand Isle, stay safe. Don't take any chances. We're not looking for any heroes.
This is Bill Hill. It's October 18th. We got a tropical storm coming through, and should be hitting us in about 3 hours. Just gonna have a meeting and all about what we're gonna do out here. The weather's looking pretty rough though. Waves just started picking up.
I'm here at Mobile 916, watching the seas roll in, the clouds roll in from Tropical Storm Nestor. We got 8-foot seas, roughly 40-mile-an-hour winds. As you can see off to the southwest, the dark clouds rolling in from the leading edge of it.
8-foot waves are hitting the base of platform Mobile 916, but the center of Nestor is still 3 hours away. In Lakeland, Florida, the hurricane hunters are preparing to get airborne. John will be leading the data gathering.
Storm has moved north, seeing decent tropical storm winds. We're gonna leave out of here at Lakeland. A lot of weather en route. It's a lot of that rain, and the storm is on actually the east side between us and the center, so we're gonna be trying to get through that.
The vast reach of Nestor is still impacting the Saipem 7000.
No way.
As the storm rages, their vessel becomes a shelter for an unlikely visitor. The ship is so huge that a flock of exhausted birds have landed on it, looking to hide from the storm.
Pictures. The birds. These guys. Cool guys. I think they have to care about the electrical storm that's happening here.
Hundreds of tiny birds, migrating from the US to South America, are now perched on any available surface of the ship.
On the left side.
Definitely some really strong thunderstorms out to our east right now. We're getting a lot of lightning.
John and the Hurricane Hunter flight are now in Nestor.
Yeah, still seeing 50, 55 knot surface winds. We're getting a significant wave height. We're really interested in those wave heights near the center, to the north and the east, because that's what's about to be experienced in the Florida Panhandle.
The flight will provide essential data for forecasters to predict what ships in the Gulf and Florida residents can expect to face in the morning. Nestor is showing no sign of weakening.
So we're here about to do a testimony with the master. See what he thinks about this little weather. So Cav, what do you think about this weather? Well, it's nice in the cabin here.
Sadly, the crew can't stay in the cabin. They have 4 miles of line to haul in.
Winds are blowing at about 30 knots. We picked up 1 and 2, even though it's raining low. Usually the seas don't pick up when it rains. But it's so windy right now. Let's get into it.
The wind is gusting harder and harder, hurling rain sideways into the boat.
The rain's cold and stinging. Very cold, about 50 degrees, 60 degrees. Wow, this is funny. This is not good. Get the up and get the out of here.
You can feel the pressure drop. You know something's not right. You gotta try not to panic.
We might be in the middle of a waterfall. Hold on! Hold on! Hold on, John! In the middle of a hurricane.
We had a lot of gear in the water. Thousands of dollars worth of gear and thousands of dollars worth of fish on that gear. I couldn't take a chance of leaving it out there like that and losing all of that.
Hold this. Don't let it go.
After 45 minutes, Creco and the crew start to emerge on the other side of the storm.
Watch your fingers, watch your fingers.
You're staring in the face of death at that point.
What was that? We got a bottom spout!
But I made it.
Pressed by a cold front to the north, Tropical Storm Nestor was unable to form the circular shape of a conventional hurricane, preventing it from intensifying. But it still brought 4 feet of storm surge to parts of the Florida coastline and a deluge of rainfall. And in the Tampa region, a tornado outbreak in Nestor's outer bands caused damage valued at over $100 million. This hurricane season will be remembered in the Gulf for weird, unruly storms and hurricanes that defied prediction. But as the world's climate shifts further from its baseline level, this season of surprises looks like a forerunner of much more yet to come.